Silent Hill 2 Remake is less than a day away from releasing for those who buy the deluxe edition, and ahead of its release, we have some review scores to go over, including an update on the game's official global release, the incredible amount of music that has been produced for this remake, the title's file size, and insight into what developer Bloober Team has in store going forward, along with updates to future Silent Hill titles. Before we get into all that, I'd like to send a big congratulations to Isha B for being the lucky winner of the Silent Hill 2 Remake Deluxe Edition giveaway. Thank you to those who participated in the giveaway, and if any of you are interested in Metaphor ReFantazio, I've got a giveaway for that game as well that will be ending in just a few days, but let me know in the comments which games you'd like to see featured in an upcoming giveaway. Now with that out of the way, let's dive into the critical reception for the game, shall we? Just want to put it out there that there will be no spoilers in this video, so we aren't going to be going over details pertaining to certain boss fights or story moments here. Reviews are out, and as it currently stands, Silent Hill 2 Remake sits at a very respectable 87 on Metacritic, so big congratulations to Bloober Team and Konami for striking a home run here. It seemed like a near impossible task to remake one of the most important games of all time, but the dozens of reviews speak for themselves here that this is a remake well worth our time. While we aren't going to be going over every review out there, I thought we should take a look at Famitsu's review, as not only was it the first review published for the game, but they do scoring a bit differently in that they rate the title out of 40 points, where they essentially have 4 people play the game and tally up every reviewer's score. The review spread resulted in one reviewer giving the game an 8, with the remaining 3 reviewers giving Silent Hill 2 Remake a 9 out of 10, resulting in a solid score of 35 out of 40. So this is definitely good news for those hoping to see this game resonate with reviewers. For those interested, the OG Silent Hill 2 scored a 34 out of 40, so at least the remake has the distinction of earning a better score on Famitsu. Famitsu, for the large part, reiterated what we had heard from the press previews that took place in Tokyo a month or so back, giving praise to the title's graphics, sound design, and gameplay, with many applauding the new ability to sidestep while in combat, making these encounters with the aggressive monstrosities more fun to tackle. Famitsu also confirmed that the game does, in fact, take about 16 to 18 hours to complete, in line with what the developers at Bloober Team suggested, with all the new content that was added to the game in the form of new and remixed puzzles, new locations added to Silent Hill, along with new artifacts and some story moments. Again, we're not going to tackle every review out there, but Famitsu's review best illustrates what we can expect in terms of the quality of Silent Hill 2 Remake, with the publication concluding that this game is brimming with detail, smothered with a thick coat of pervasive atmosphere that is both a delight to see and play through. With the publication praising the high quality of the title in general, this is just great news to hear about such a remake that received so much criticism right from its announcement all the way up until, I want to say, a month or so ago. It really does sound like this game plays exceptionally well and is a faithful remake of the iconic game we received almost 25 years ago, so I'd consider this definitely a win in my book. Now, for those who have yet to play the OG Silent Hill 2, or for those unfamiliar with the series, we have a few excerpts from a user over on Reddit who obtained one of the early copies, who reiterates the highlights that were outlined in Famitsu's review. Please note that, again, no spoilers here, and this perspective from the Redditor is worth listening to, as this comes from someone who never played the original title, let alone another Silent Hill game, so their perspective is quite valuable. First off, the player remarks how stellar the game looks, with great atmosphere and graphics that sport locations that are fun to explore with great combat. The player continues by letting us know that they have been playing on normal difficulty, stating the game is balanced nicely with its combat and puzzles. As for the complaints, the Redditor remarked that there were some visual glitches with enemies and windows, with some prompts being a bit finicky to activate, adding that some downed corpses were difficult to navigate around, sometimes freezing you in place, requiring the player to stomp to get free. Perhaps these will be addressed in a day 1 patch or patched out later on. The Redditor remarks that they haven't played too far into the game, but added that they couldn't wait to play more, and stated that players could spend upwards of an hour tinkering with the title's UI and gameplay settings to get the game's presentation to your liking. The post concludes by stating that the game is very polished, with no big issues, and can tell that Bloober Team put a lot of care into the game. The post also mentioned that the game was played on a PS5 with performance mode, and remarked that the game seemed to be running at a constant 60 FPS with no stutters, although cutscenes played out at 30 frames per second. Definitely appreciate this no spoiler look at the title from a player new to the Silent Hill series, and it just sounds like Silent Hill 2 Remake is a really solid game. So let me know what you think about the review scores the game has been getting in the comments below, and if these scores make you more or less interested in the game as we await its imminent launch. As stated earlier, the game officially unlocks at 12 AM local time for most areas on October 8th, as depicted here in Konami's global launch graphic, but keep in mind, the 12 AM local time release pertains to the PS5 version. Because Steam operates differently with releases, here are the times for the Steam version release on screen, which are also marked on Konami's graphic underneath the PS5 version. Now, what about for those of us who bought the deluxe edition, you might ask? Well, Konami hasn't released any official information about when the title will unlock, but it is likely that it will reflect this global release graphic, instead moved up 2 days to October 6th instead of the 8th. I'll have this linked in the description for you all to view in case you'd like more clarity on when you'll be able to play the game. Moving on, let's briefly touch up on the game's file size for those interested. Silent Hill 2 Remake will be just north of 50 gigabytes on the PS5 version, with the Steam version likely to be comparable to it. For those on the PS5, you'll be able to preload the game on October 6th for those who got the standard edition, and for those who bought the deluxe edition, well, you can already preload the game, as yesterday, October 4th, was when preloads for the deluxe edition became available. Alright, now for those who have been keeping up with my previous coverage on Silent Hill 2 Remake, we know that the OG Silent Hill 2 composer Akira Yamaoka returned to re-record the score for the remake and composed even more work for the new game, resulting in an astounding number of new tracks for the remake. As per Konami's YouTube channel, Silent Hill 2 Remake contains a total of 187 tracks, with 31 of them being included from the original game, resulting in a total of 156 new tracks that have been added to Silent Hill 2. If you're interested in a wave of nostalgia and looking for a sampling of what we can expect to hear in the remake, go ahead and use the link in the description to check out the soundtrack. Silent Hill 2 Remake is, without a doubt, the highest profile release in the history of Polish developer Bloober Team, and it seems like their work on Silent Hill has given them a better outlook on what they'd like to create in the future. In an interview with Rock Paper Shotgun, the lead producer of Silent Hill 2 Remake suggested that the studio would further distance themselves from the jump scare heavy nature of their earlier titles like Layers of Fear, and instead dive deeper into more atmospheric horror games sporting third-person perspectives, games very much like Silent Hill. Reflecting on the studio's evolution from previous works like the Layers of Fear series to the more recent The Medium, Bloober Team feels like a remake of Silent Hill 2 was the perfect next step for the studio. And it was while we were doing The Medium that we did this proposition, said the lead producer of Bloober Team. We felt we had the technology, the experience, and the knowledge to try and deal with Silent Hill, an iconic title. He continued with, "For us, it was the cherry on top, but we still want to progress. We've learned so much about technology, about combat systems, so many things that we can bring to new titles." This leads us to the most recent statement Bloober Team had when the studio's CEO told a Polish publication, quote, "You can expect that this is not the end of the adventure with Konami," end quote. Now, this has led many to wonder whether they will be allowed to remake more Silent Hills or even make a new numbered sequel for the series in the future, and while we obviously don't have an update on Bloober Team's involvement in future titles in the series, considering Silent Hill 2 Remake does well, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of the team's involvement with Konami going forward. Konami has stated throughout the years that Silent Hill 2 Remake is the title to kick off a resurgence of the brand, with Silent Hill F and Silent Hill Townfall both confirmed to be worked on. Regarding the development of Silent Hill Townfall, in a statement from the official Annapurna Interactive X account, who are the co-developers of the title, it appears that the title is still in production and continues to be developed by Konami, Annapurna Interactive, and No Code. This follows a recent report regarding the uncertain status of Annapurna Interactive from Bloomberg, but it's reassuring that this Silent Hill title is still being worked on. It'll be interesting to see what Bloober Team's role in this franchise will be moving forward, but Silent Hill 2 Remake's success marks a bright spot for the series that hasn't seen too many of them throughout recent years, so let's hope for more quality Silent Hill games going forward. For those interested in learning about the crazy rumors and leaks regarding the future of the Resident Evil franchise, you can find me over in this video as we go through some big Resident Evil 9 rumors along with future Resident Evil remakes. That's all I got for you in this one. For those playing Silent Hill 2 Remake in the coming days, hope you have an awesome time with it, and I'll be seeing you with more Silent Hill content real soon.